Well, hey there. Welcome back to another episode of Agent Success Secrets. Today's agent that I can't wait to highlight all her success is Jessica Holle. Jessica, I have loved getting to know you and watching your business grow as well as you grow in your own leadership and through life. So just tell everyone who you are, where you are, and what you do.
I'm Jessica Holle. I live in Wichita, Kansas, and I'm with Keller Williams Hometown Partners. And I've been in real estate for 9 years. I'll be headed into my 10th year in June. And I am a rainmaker, team leader, whatever you want to call it, for a small team. We've got three producing agents, a director of operations, and a showing partner that we just have kind of implemented. And most importantly, I'm married. I've been married for 16 years. I've got three great kids, a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, and an 8-year-old. And I have just recently taken on the role of supervising broker at our brokerage. So,
Yeah, so lots of extra time, I'm sure. Just
sure. Yeah. Plenty of time.
Well, Jessica, through all these years of obviously you didn't have a team when you started out in real estate and you had to kind of figure out your path. So let's just go back in time and talk about how that all started and actually maybe beforehand, like why did you even get into real estate?
So I started my career straight out of college in nonprofit work. So I worked for our Chamber of Commerce and I kind of started my career there. I worked in their business programming department and then ended up running their young professionals program. And I got so much great experience that when you work in nonprofit, you just do everything because there's just not enough people and there's not enough resources. So I got some great experience that I honestly probably should not have gotten at that young of an age, if I'm being honest. And yet I did get the experience, and I'm so grateful for that. I ended up moving from there and going into corporate America, where I worked for a little over a decade in client relations and client contract negotiations. And although I really did enjoy the work that I did and the partners that I got to work with, over time, your territory changes, your job changes over time. And ultimately, I was traveling a lot. I had little kids. And my work was taking me to Wisconsin for a week and then over to California for a week. And it was just really hard with small children. Concurrently, my team got laid off. Around me. I did not, but they did. And I just kind of realized that this is really a volatile industry. And over the previous few years during that time, I had kind of helped out another agent doing just some part-time contract work, helping with like her database communications really and newsletters and things like that. So I decided to just go for it and give it a whirl. When I asked that agent if I should just go be an agent also, she told me no, that it couldn't be done with kids. And I did it anyway eventually. But yeah, that's how I got into it anyway.
So you're stubborn and you want to prove people wrong.
Not really, but I just kind of like, I think I can do it.
Well, how sad that her limiting beliefs could have stumped you from the
Mhm.
success that you've had through this business. So
Yeah.
you get into real estate and you already knew a little bit from the experience with this agent. So you had it all figured out right out of the gate, or did you take a little bit to kind of find your path?
Oh, not at all. I definitely didn't have it all figured out. I stayed in my corporate job I was dual career for somewhere between a year and 18 months. And that first year I think was just really trying to figure it out. I did have an idea because I had that previous experience and saw what I did for her um and yet you're still just kind of trying to figure it all out. How am I going to build this business? How am I going to find clients? I was at a very small brokerage when I first started out and was surrounded by producing agents and some great mentors. And they were out doing their thing. They weren't there to help and teach me. So I definitely stumbled and just kind of figured things out on my own. I knew I needed a database. I used that in everyday work, in corporate America as well. So I started building that database. I did tons of open houses and just kind of failed my way through it.
And I love though that now, because I know what your business looks like today, that you didn't realize it then, but so much of your background was setting you up for success in your real estate career. Kind of share what you've pulled through from your previous careers into building this awesome business that you have today.
I think number one is professionalism. Just bringing the when I worked at the chamber, I joke that like I had to wear pantyhose every single day. Like it was not an option. So that was a line item in the budget back then. But I say that because it was a very business formal environment, and I was interacting with business professionals and executives and all kinds of people all the time. And so I did learn a lot about how important relationships are and how to communicate well, how to be professional and carry just a sense of professionalism, I feel like.
Yeah.
Um, that is just as important today in real estate as we're walking through such a huge investment for our clients. Um, my corporate job, just all of the contract negotiations that we went through and just managing those relationships. If you manage the relationship all year long really well, it makes those discussions about pricing and all of those things a little bit easier. So all of those things really, really carried through.
And also, again, because I know you, your nonprofit background is a part of your business today, and your events are a huge part of your
Hmm.
business today. So, how did you finally get your footing? You took a huge risk, you bet on yourself, you quit your other job, and now with little kiddos at home and knowing that this is something you need to succeed at, like how did you push forward through that to get to where you are today?
I wish I could tell you that, like, man, I just figured it out and there was some big epiphany. And, I mean, there was just a lot of trial and error and failing forward. And I did hit a point where it was like, I knew I wanted this business to grow. I knew that, I really knew that I could do it and that this could be, more than what I had created to that point. Um, and so I did find a different brokerage. I ended up moving to KW, and when I did that, within a year, my business doubled because I was taught how to be a business owner, which was not something that I had experience with before. So the tools and the systems and those kinds of things. And then right around that same time, I hired my first admin, and that helped tremendously. I mean, she's still with me today and helped create some of those systems and get my database in order and, all of those things that are just really important as you're trying to be strategic and build a business.
Well, so this is great because you took a risk just on yourself, and then it is very scary for many successful solo agents to bite the bullet and to invest in another human. So I feel like that's something that a lot of agents struggle with. At least I'm hearing the conversation often. So what would you say to those who might be watching that it is scary and it's worth it?
It It is scary and it is the best thing I've ever done. Like
Yeah.
the best. I mean, I had little kids at home and I was, working all day, two careers, because if
Ah,
you don't do real estate part-time, really. I mean, even if you're part-time, if
right.
you're doing it right, it's a lot. Then, I'm tending to my family in the evenings, putting them to bed, and then up till 11 and 12, trying to do paperwork and whatever else to catch up. And by hiring that first admin who was able to help with TC work, who was able to, jump in and just help implement some of these systems that I knew I wanted to do up here, but couldn't, just couldn't find the bandwidth to make it happen. Oh gosh. I mean, I literally slept better at
Yeah.
night. And my business flourished too. I mean, my business has increased every single year. And I definitely owe that to, the people that I have around me and the systems that we've put in place.
Well, you trusted and empowered them. And because of that, you've been able to continue to grow. And I love that you did get to implement systems like the ones that you're still doing today. Like you
Mhm.
created a plan just to give back to educators in your community that is still a huge part of your focus and a
Yeah.
real purposeful give back. So talk about that just a little bit.
Okay. This is just one of my favorite things. And it started because I was the mom that was in PTA and did all the things. And I'm married to an educator. So I know I know a little bit about what teachers go through. I'm not a teacher, so I can't say I know a lot, but I know a little.
Yeah.
Um, and I have a huge heart for what they do. Like they take my, my little person for 8 hours a day and help form them. Like that's a big deal. And I started out I just wanted to say thank you. And I just thought, like, how can I do that? I don't, there's however many teachers in my kid's school. How am I going to impact on that scale, I should say? I have a client who works he's a manager within Sonic. And so I just reached out and said, like, hey, do you think that you would partner with me on this? And he was like, absolutely. They, shared values of giving back in the community. And so we partnered on that. And I invited all of the teachers to have a drink on me. So I got their drink orders and just took them around to the school. I started that in 2021. I've been doing it for 5 years,
Yeah.
and it started just doing it within one little school. And now we take to 8 schools within the district. So now it's a whole thing.
It's a
We
whole thing. And I love it that you've even gotten more intentional and purposeful with it today because you have to be, I would think.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. It was pretty chaotic. You can imagine. I mean, 50 drinks, let's say. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but 50 Sonic drinks, they're all different. They all go to different rooms, all of that. I had to put a system around it. I had to, and now it is like, just a well-oiled machine. It's still, I mean, even at that, it's a couple of hours of my time when I go and do these deliveries. But when you walk in a room and those teachers are like, thank you so much. I forgot this was today. You just made my day. I mean,
Yeah.
so much. So it was intended for that purpose, and it really has grown into a large piece of my business and in an accidental demographic farm.
And I just think that is the smartest, funnest thing. And this might not be for everybody. This plan isn't for everybody, but
Yes.
they could find their target market and have some form of a give back or a thank you that,
Mhm.
and you even shared that you're not asking for business during this process at
No,
all, at
no,
all.
never.
Yeah. And I know though we've got to have results. Like people could listen to this and be like, "Oh yeah, that sounds nice, but does it really make an impact on the bottom line of your business?"
hmm So pretty much from the beginning, I'm sure I didn't do it the first time, but I did a giveaway
Mhm.
tied to it and said, like, if you would like to enter this giveaway for an Amazon card or whatever, I don't know, I've done different things. Um, you can provide your information. So as part of the Google form where they order their drink, they have the option to participate. You can opt in, you can opt out. It doesn't make any difference to me. I'm still going to be so excited to bring you a drink. And over time, I mean, I'm to the point now that my educators are 30%, let's say, of my database probably, or close to,
With your
because
closing production.
my closings actually, I mean, they've grown from like 11% of my business
Yeah.
to year to date this year it's 40%.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're a large part of my database
Right.
and my closings. So it's both. But again, it wasn't intentional. But then at some point I was like, wait a minute,
Mhm.
there's a lot. The business is coming from here. What, I need to probably think about this and be intentional. Um, it is my opinion that the reason this works is it's because it's where I'm present.
Right.
I am part of our education foundation. I am a parent. I am at so many school activities. I support the booster club. I'm part, I mean,
Yeah.
it just is, it's where I'm already present. So I agree. I don't think it's for everybody. If you're not naturally, passionate about a school district, for instance, they don't do this. It won't come across the same and it won't land the same. But maybe you're really passionate about first responders or, whatever that community is that you're already present in and you're already passionate about.
So for those who may want to like get the notes on how to actually do this, you're only delivering a couple times a year.
Mhm. I usually do early spring and then late fall.
Yeah, and so and what is the cost of this type of give back?
Um, it's substantial at this point, I would say.
Because how many do you
But
deliver?
it's close to around 600 drinks each time I do it.
So
So,
1,200
mhm,
total. Okay.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's literally me loading up my car with the little drink trays from Sonic and um, putting them in the back of my vehicle and taking them and putting them on a tray that the school gives me, and then I drive it around to each classroom and get to say a quick hello and interact and drop them off their drink. So yeah, I would say the cost is, I mean, Sonic does help me out on that. So huge thanks to my Sonic partners.
Shout out
Um,
Sonic.
yeah, they give me that happy hour pricing, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's well worth it, is what I would say. It is just, it was always intended to just be a give back, and yet it's definitely paid for itself
Have you
many
had
times over.
any major spills?
One, but it wasn't me that if that counts.
It was the
Um,
teacher.
and I did know the teacher like pretty well that spilled it, but I really need to just carry paper towels with me because the school paper towels are not absorbent, is what I know.
That's so great. Well, I just
Yeah.
love it that you got really intentional. Hey, you know what? I want to be a great, successful real estate agent, and I have three kiddos. So where, and a husband, it's in the school system as well. So how can I just maximize where I am anyway? That's just the
Mhm.
best way to build your business is around, what you already love and where you're going to already be. So let's
Yes.
carry this through to client events. This is also a big part of your passion.
It is. It is. I've done some sort of client event every year since I started in my business. And I think again that just it's something I pulled through. I did a ton of event planning in my former life, as I say it. But we started with doing at a small clubhouse in a neighborhood doing Christmas photos with Santa. And the first couple of years, it just grew. And then one year, the day we did it, the weather was awful. I mean, just ice, like the sidewalks and everything were just ice. And I thought, I am going to be sitting here by myself. Like there is no way anyone's getting out here. And I've spent this money on Santa. And, I did it all myself that back then. Bought all of this hot cocoa, all the things. And I had 75 people come. And at that time in my business, that was a huge,
Yeah.
huge amount of people. And so I was like, I think this is important. Like, I think this is something that I should pay
Yeah.
more attention to, put a system around, and it's just grown from there. We've done all different types of events, but now we kind of have fallen into a system where we do three big events a year.
Mhm.
I do partner with another agent in my company, and we both have very small teams of just 2 to 3 agents. We partner for those, and we do a spring event at a wildlife park. It's a very pricey place, and so it gives our clients and our
Yeah.
community some access that maybe, if
Hmm.
you're going to take your family of 5, this place would cost you $500 to go.
Yeah.
So most people aren't just going to go pick up and do that on a Saturday. Gives them some fun access. And then we will do indoor water park in that's here in our community in July, and we partner that with the school district, and we do a big give back. And their price of admission is a school supply. Someone could bring just a pencil, or truthfully, if they didn't bring anything, we'd still be welcoming them in. But people come with backpacks loaded with things, and so we're able to again give back to the community and bless others through that as well. And we'll also do a Christmas event of some sort. A lights display is what at our zoo. It's doesn't include the animals, so that's not 2 animal events a year. But that one will be late in the year, and again, it's kind of a pricey ticket, and so it's
Yeah.
giving our people some access.
I mean, you're making them feel special and
Mhm.
appreciated and having access, like you said, to something they wouldn't get to do otherwise. This is why they show up, If it's
Yeah.
just a random event that anybody could pop by, then they might not be that motivated to go for it, you know?
Right.
You
Yes.
you said something that really stood out to me, and I noticed this as well with our client events, is when you allow your people to give back for your give back, that's when they really show up. I had a an insurance agent that's one of our sponsors and always helps us in our business, and we pass business to her. We have a great relationship. And one time she said, "Oh, Jennie, I don't want to come take a pie from you. I feel bad." But then whenever we partnered it with giving back to the food bank, then she said, "Oh, now I feel good about
Yeah.
giving so that I can
Mhm.
take." Isn't
Yeah.
that interesting?
Hmm. Yeah. That is interesting. I do think people want to give back, and that's a fun, easy way to be able to do that and kind of have it facilitated for them
You're
almost,
you're helping having giving them some purpose if they didn't have
Yes.
the planning to do it. I
I
also
think it's important to, I just want to say that, like, yes, I did create all of these events and do all of this. And it really stemmed from the fact that I didn't want to call people, if I'm just being honest, and say like, hey, do you want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Like I wish I could, but I just am probably not going to do that. And this these events allow us to bring value and to bring something to them and have something to talk to them about. And then that real estate conversation comes much more organically at that point.
Jessica, I literally wrote down no cold calling. This type of
Yeah.
a business, we're on the same wavelength there. This type of a business that you've created allows you to do what's natural for you is to
Hmm.
care about people, to add value, to give back. And that gets in the communication that you need.
Yes.
And it
Yes.
and it works. Like you said,
And
every
it
year
works.
your production has grown and increased. What have I not asked you yet that's really on your heart that you definitely want to share?
I think I would just say that, like, we're still learning and growing and figuring all of this out. I by no means like am perfect and have everything, you know that better than anyone.
Great.
But, have everything figured out in a great little line. And I should say, it kind of goes back to that book, The Gap and the Gain. Like, as I was preparing for this conversation and looking back through the years of like what we have built, it's pretty cool, like putting systems and knowing in my head that this was going to help, but then you just get busy and you do it. So having that moment to reflect and look back and think like, man, we've really come a long way. We're really doing something here. So I just think that I'm so glad I started, and I'm so glad that, we put in this work over the years.
Well, okay, I do want to dive into this topic because sometimes some amazing real estate agents make this look so easy. And
Mm-mm.
we know behind the scenes it is not at all easy. And it could be a struggle every day. Or you feel like you got it all figured out, and the next day you totally don't. And so
Right.
let's just chat about the joys of leverage through people is awesome and amazing. And are there times that you want to say, forget it, I'll just do it all myself?
Well, yes, I do say that.
You're not
um,
alone.
Yeah, I do think that's very hard. When you put your blood and your sweat and your tears and all of the things into your business. And as a solo agent for most of my career, like the business is me, so to hand this little baby over to someone else to trust that they'll, love it as much as you do, is hard. And like, gosh, when you just this is what I'm still working on, but being able to hand it over and let them own it, they probably are going to do a better job than me, and be able to put more love and focus into their piece of the business. So that has brought me, I mean, Talea, that has worked with me since, for 6 years, and Haley, that came on board with me, going on 3 years now. They're both still with me. They both, do an amazing job of helping and supporting. And I would not be close to being able to do half of what happens in our world without them. So leverage is key if you want to grow. You cannot do it all alone.
Well, not only do you want to grow, Jessica, you also want to have time with your family and your
Mhm.
young ones while they're still under your roof because we know it
Yes.
can just come and go so fast. And so that's, I think, where you trust in yourself and you take the risk on
Hmm.
other humans helping you is so you can live that life by design that you've
Yeah.
already been working so hard for.
Hmm. I don't know how many times I've said, and this was maybe earlier on, but I probably could do all of this,
Yeah.
and it is worth my time is worth,
Yeah.
more right now than hiring out some leverage so that I can be present with my kids. And I'm still figuring that out. This job is a lot, and this career is a lot, and being a business owner is a lot. So we're still working on that and figuring it out. But it's sure nice when you're feeling that leverage.
Yeah, well, you do it with total grace, and I love watching you
Mhm.
grow. So thank you for sharing your story. How can people best find you so they can follow along and keep up with you or share a referral?
I am Homes by Jessica H on Facebook and Instagram. And I do have a YouTube presence as well. We're just growing that. It's at Holly Homes, and all of my contact information is on our Facebook and
Well,
Instagram.
it's been such a joy getting to know you and especially getting to chat with you today. Thank you for your time, and I can't wait to talk to you next week.
Thank you so much for all you've done for me. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate you. Thanks.